Hey, it's Mindy. Today I want to talk about recession proofing your business. It seems like no matter where I turn these days, there's talk of are we in a recession? Is inflation taking over? Is inflation under control? Are we going to? And then I hear like online and stuff, oh, recession proof your business. Do this and you'll never have to worry about what happens in the world around you. And I'm like, is it really possible to recession proof your business? The truth is, I don't know. I have been in the bodywork industry over 20 years now, so I have certainly seen my share of dips and world events that could make business and the economy come crashing down. I think that there are a couple of things that you can do that will shore your business up so that no matter what goes on, you can be pretty safe in your business. So I want to share a couple of those with you today. The first is when you're first starting out in your business. I'm thinking back to, gosh, it seems like 100 years ago, '03, '04, when I was first opening my business doors. And when you're first starting off, it doesn't matter what the economy's doing, you have got to hustle. You've got to create a solid foundation for your business. I didn't know that then. And so I made the mistake of doing what maybe you might be doing, which is I vacillated back and forth between being super underconfident, like I could barely tell people about the work I did, that I was a body worker, that I did this thing called craniosacral therapy. Like I could barely say the words because I was just so I guess, imposter syndrome. I was like, who am I to say that I'm a massage therapist? All in my head, all that stuff. So I went from that extreme all the way over to super confident. I had read all this stuff online, be your best self and just go out there and just do it and believe that it will happen and it will happen. And so I went from like not being able to tell anybody about what I was doing all the way to I've told this story before, but it's so freaking embarrassing. I'll share it again. I we first moved to North Carolina and I didn't know anyone in town except our realtor, and she had a Christmas party. And I had just opened my business in November, and this was in December. And I was like reading all these things about how important it was to come across as confident and empowered and all that. Oh my God. So I brought with me to this Christmas party. Now, remember who's coming to this Christmas party? My realtor's clients. Like, are they people who are going to want to get a massage? I didn't even think in those terms. I was just like, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to sell massages to all these people at this Christmas party, which I can't even say the words now without laughing because it's so freaking ridiculous. But to be confident, to tell the universe, yes, I'm ready, I brought my credit card machine with me. And this was, as I said, 20 some years ago, back in the day when they were giant. It was like, they're like this big. And it was one of those things that was like, do you remember? Some of you will remember. And they had like carbon copy little papers that you would run the credit card on. I brought that to my realtor's Christmas party. Like I walk in the door with the thing because what? Everyone's going to come up and want to get massages from me, and it's a good thing I take credit cards. Oh my God. So, no matter what's going on in the economy, when you start off, rather than doing what I did and vacillating from really confident with my credit card machine to like I can barely speak to people about my business, if that's where you find yourself right now, what you need to do is to create a solid foundation for your business. Now, there are, it's hard to do on your own, I found, because think about it, with your modality, you learned, someone taught you how to do the modality, right? It's the same thing with the business side of your practice. You shouldn't just be expected to know all of this stuff and figure it all out on your own. So you can get some coaching, you can get some support. I have a program that's called the Bodywork Project, which is a group coaching program, very, very small groups. And that will help you build a solid foundation, however you find it. Make sure as you're beginning that you've got a solid foundation. Even if, this isn't your first rodeo and you've been around the block a time or two, make sure you have a solid foundation for your practice. And that's going to see you through highs and lows with the economy. The second thing that you can do is to be consistent. So, okay, so I started in 0304. Fast forward a couple of years, and I had made the decision to make a pivot and do the work I really, really loved doing, the work I knew in my heart I was called to do, which is craniosacral therapy. So I had made the pivot. I had told everybody, okay, no more massage. I'm just going forward with craniosacral therapy. It was a big move. It made me nervous, but I knew that it was the right thing to do. This was in '08. And right when I did it, the housing market crashed. So the next thing you know, nobody has any money to do anything. Nobody, and I was like, what have I done? So the important thing that got me through then was being consistent. So for example, I had an email newsletter that I used to reach out to my clients. And at that time, I think I was sending it once a month. And I continued to send that email newsletter. I shared things that I was doing, how I was scared to, how I had openings. And my clients learned through that, many other ways, but through that consistency, they learned that I could be counted on. They knew that I wasn't going to just flake out and not be there for them. They knew that they could count on me. And people continued to come in regularly, even though the economy was in shambles. So the first thing, build a solid foundation for your practice. Second thing, be consistent no matter what's going on around you. And then the third thing is get support. If you need support, get support. So I've talked about when I first started, talked about the housing crisis, and then of course the pandemic in 2020, when the entire world was thrown off kilter. I don't think I would have made it through that time, that experience, without support. So I was in what's called an accelerator group. So it was a group of other business women. And, we were meeting and doing our group work together before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit. And then, it was intensified. Like, what are we going to do? What's going on? What's happening? We were resources for each other. We were sounding boards for each other. And that support really was able to bolster me and help me through the pandemic. So if you're trying to do this all on your own, and the world shifts and changes, economies shift and change, the events going on in our world right now are beyond comprehension. Get support, whatever that looks like for you. It needs to be more than just scrolling through Instagram and seeing what somebody's daily quote is, right? It needs to be something. Think about it this way: find someone you resonate with, someone who you say, hey, that person's done what I want to do, and they can show me how to do it. You resonate with them, reach out and see what type of support they offer. So I do the Bodywork Project, which is a group coaching program. I also do one-on-one mentoring and several other programs. And you can find out more about them in the links below. But whatever you do, you might resonate with me. We'd love to have you. It might be somebody else you resonate with, and that's great too. Just know in your heart that you don't have to do this by yourself. It's too hard. There's too much going on in our world. So the 3 things to recession-proof your business are to build that solid business foundation, be consistent no matter what's going on around you, and get the support that you need. Okay, that's it for today. As I said, I have several programs. You can check those out, see if you're interested. You can see them at mindytotten.com/programs. And if you have any questions, you can always put them into the comments, or you can fire me an email at hello@mindytotten.com. We'd love to help however we can. Okay, that's it for today. Look forward to seeing you next time.